This is News 8 Now, this morning.
People are very invested in their community. They know when it's time to step up and help their neighbors, and I think that is something you see in our surrounding communities.
There's just a lot of obstacles that people figure if they're walking, they can get over, but if they're in a wheelchair or a mechanical device, they're just not going to go.
The Holmen Fire Department, it's in a transition between mostly part-time firefighters to mostly career firefighters. I'm very familiar and comfortable with that because of my experience with volunteer combination and career fire departments.
The biggest thing that we hear is, how can I get things done? Well, we need workers to get those things done. So this is what that's all about, is introducing them to those trades that are available to them.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye-opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Thursday, April 19th. One more day until Friday. We've got some showers.
Wednesday. Today's Wednesday.
Oh my gosh.
No, I wish it was Friday, right? Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if we only have one more day? Yeah.
Well,
no, it feels like it's going by fast.
At 5 a.m. I was like, oh yeah, it's the 9th.
Yeah. No, it's the 19th. But hey, at least we're actually moving fast, more fast than we think it is, right? So,
I don't know.
I don't know. So we got some heavy downpours moving through right now here this morning. Hey, if you're one of those lucky people that don't have to go into work this morning, cuddle up, get yourself under those blankets and sheets and things like that, and just get comfortable, because we got that type of weather to work with. The rain's coming down. We're hearing thunder. We're seeing some of those lightning strikes. But if you are heading out the door this morning, keep in mind that we are seeing some of those heavy downpours and some of those occasional lightning strikes, especially from Eau Claire County southward into Houston County is where we're seeing the majority of the heavy rain move through. And all this activity is moving towards the east. And as you can see, there's plenty more back towards the west. So here's what you can expect today. The rain is going to continue through at least 11 o'clock this morning, and then it will taper here, especially by the early afternoon. Cloudy skies lingering, and some more scattered rain showers are possible late this afternoon into early this evening. So as far as your allergy report goes today, medium from poplar to juniper to trees today. Tomorrow we see this taper a bit. Poplar, juniper is low, and the tree pollen tomorrow in general will be still on the medium side. But overall, these cold and wet conditions are going to limit the pollen here a little bit. We'll talk more about this in the full weather forecast in just a bit. Sophia?
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. Governor Tony Evers has declared a state of emergency because of flooding. Fast snowmelt along with heavy rains has caused flooding issues all over the state. The executive order authorizes state agencies and the Wisconsin National Guard to help out if needed. According to the governor's office, high water levels are already affecting areas with poor drainage and leading to water-covered roadways. As temperatures rise and snow melts upstream, river levels continue to rise. That brings increased flood risk to our communities downstream. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen shows us how a small town is pulling together one sandbag at a time.
When the river rises, a community answers its call.
The sense of community and energy.
Even in a small town of 793.
They know when it's time to step up and help their neighbors.
Fountain City along Highway 35 is at risk.
Their current predictions puts us at like the 2019 level. And at that time, it did cross Highway 35 and they had to close the highway.
The Mississippi River is on the up and up. This weekend, the highway could be covered in water. Mayor Gwen Katula knew it was time to ask for help.
It's really rewarding, and in my role, it's to see community members step up when the call for help is put out there.
Jesse Stalker, who travels through Fountain City every day, was one of those helpers.
I've hung out here, I know people here, and I know people are in need, so I figured it's time to give back.
A flood barrier for a tight-knit community built.
You do what you can
by its own, all in a day's work. In Fountain City, Emily Haugen, News 8 Now.
Fountain City Mayor Gwen Katula says she's grateful for the volunteers who came to help out yesterday. No more volunteers are needed at this time. The Wisconsin Governor's Office reports a La Crosse County judge is retiring this summer. Governor Evers announced he's seeking applicants for La Crosse County Circuit Court Branch 3 and a branch in Dane County Court. Current La Crosse Branch 3 Judge Todd Berkey is retiring on July 31st. Applicants for both court positions would serve a term until July 31st of 2024. The Holmen Area Fire Department has a new fire chief. Ryan Ostring has worked for 8 different fire departments throughout his career. Ostring previously served as the fire captain and deputy director for the Rochester Fire Department. He says that his background in leadership and emergency management has prepared him to step into this role.
The Holmen Fire Department, it's in a transition between mostly part-time firefighters to mostly career firefighters. I'm very familiar and comfortable with that because of my experience with volunteer combination and career fire departments.
President of the Holmen Area Fire Board, Patrick Barlow, says Ostring has the full support of the board and station.
It's just very exciting in a community to bring on new leadership, and on top of all the other positive events with the referendum, it's just a really happy time for the department to see a new leader come in and be able to help us focus on meeting the needs of our community into the future.
Native to the area, Ostring attended La Crosse Central High School, has a daughter who attended UWL, and has family all over Onalaska. The new fire chief says getting to serve a community while still being close to family is the icing on the cake. The La Crosse Community Foundation hosted an annual Holocaust Remembrance and Education program. Community members gathered at La Crosse's congregation, Sons of Abraham, to highlight the importance of Holocaust education in La Crosse. La Crosse School District representatives shared how they're putting grants towards Holocaust education to work. The event also included a violinist, a short film, and a performance of a scene from the diary of Anne Frank. The School District of La Crosse has created a group for citizens to address district concerns. A district release says the Facility Advisory Committee will be made up of about 30 community members. The group will look at data and community feedback to make recommendations for needs within the school system. That includes recommendations for combining elementary schools and improving middle and high schools. Monthly meetings start up tomorrow. The first meeting will be held from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Hogan Administrative Center. Anyone in the community is welcome to attend and observe. Area students sparked an interest in STEM at Onalaska's Omni Center. The first annual Build My Future event is a chance for students to picture themselves in hands-on careers. Industry partners had different displays, activities, and equipment for students to try on site.
The biggest thing that we hear is, how can I get things done? Well, we need workers to get those things done. So this is what that's all about, is introducing them to those trades that are available to them.
This was the first annual hands-on career day for the Driftless region. Bailey says between 50 and 60 schools from Minnesota and Wisconsin were represented at Build My Future. In La Crosse, community members took part in a pedestrian dignity walk. The walk aims to highlight some of the challenges people with disabilities face every day. News 8 Now's Dua Ishrar spoke to people at the walk who say there are streets they don't feel safe crossing.
When the walk sign turns on, life halts for a brief moment. Step by step, people get closer to their destination.
It's not just your experience. Other people are experiencing totally different circumstances than you.
For Jeff Nylander, putting one foot in front of the other isn't an option.
I gotta go around the corner here.
Jeff's wife, Jeannie Nylander, also has difficulty crossing the street. It's even harder when there's no walking signals.
So you have to cross traffic moving to get to the button to set off the light. And it just doesn't make any sense.
City of La Crosse Associate Planner Jenna Dinkles says it's important to have people with disabilities involved in city planning.
They're reviewing the engineering department's projects for the year and making sure that they have some kind of complete streets approach and that they're okay with those projects that are taking place.
Right now, streets like this one aren't easily accessible for people with disabilities.
There's just a lot of obstacles that people figure if they're walking, they can get over, but if they're in a wheelchair or a mechanical device, they're just not going to go. Yeah, the Henderson Trail.
Nylander hopes with awareness, communities like the Coulee region will be accessible to people from all walks of life. Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Shrar, News 8 Now.
Every few years, a transition plan is required by the American with Disabilities Act. That plan creates a budget to remove barriers for people who are disabled. The city has a transition plan currently in the works. Still ahead on your morning news, airlines prepare for a wave of pilot shortages as more than half will retire in the next 15 years. And Starbucks workers in Madison go on strike. We have that and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Phil Whitmarsh of Old Market Guitar Works is making what's old new again, taking deck wood from World War era shipwrecks and giving it new life as new guitars. The wood was sourced by the Texas Battleship Foundation from Oak Island in Nova Scotia, an area infamous for sunken treasures. Once complete, Whitmarsh plans to auction off his work to help fund repairs for the battleship USS Texas.
Well, we continue to watch some showers and thunderstorms move through the Coulee region now as we speak, and some of these are producing some lightning strikes, as you can see there on the radar, especially now moving east into La Crosse County, where we're seeing some of the heavier showers. We're also watching some heavy rain from Eau Claire County southward into the Winona and Black River Falls area here this morning. So watch out for some of that rain here for the dog walking conditions. Cloudy skies for the afternoon. That's when we get a break, followed by more scattered rain showers that could develop as we head into the evening hours. Your zone forecast today, well, to the mid to upper 40s in La Crosse County, 49 in Soldiers Grove today, with highs reaching around 51 in Lansing. Back to our central zones, low to mid 40s can be set here today with a high of 45 in Winona. In the Chippewa Valley, you'll be into the upper 30s to low 40s with 42 today in Eau Claire. So for your schoolcast this morning, things definitely looking wet. 42 degrees will be your temperature, and on the way back home, 46 degrees, much drier underneath mainly cloudy skies. For your mowing forecasts, you might want to hold off on that this morning because it's looking a little bit stormy out there, but we will be looking at some cloudier conditions at around noon with drier conditions by that point. That will probably be the best bet before some scattered showers begin to move in at around 5 o'clock. I'll have a check on your full weather forecast coming up in just a bit.
In your consumer news this morning, an airline industry leader is warning of a, quote, coming tsunami of pilot retirements that will further the nation's pilot shortage. President of the Regional Airline Association, Faye Malarkey Black, is set to tell a House committee today that the pilot shortage has resulted in a collapse in nationwide air service. 42 states have less airline service now than before the pandemic. While a record 9,500 pilots earned their licenses last year, that number is not keeping up with demand. Less electric vehicles are eligible for tax credits this year. According to the Treasury Department, consumers can get up to $7,500 back on cars made by U.S. automakers. EVs from foreign brands are no longer on the list. This update is based on new rules from the Inflation Reduction Act. It requires a certain percentage of the car's battery to be processed or assembled in North America or a country the U.S. has a free trade agreement with. Feeling undervalued and understaffed, workers at the State Street Starbucks are moving forward with plans to unionize, filing a request this morning. Talil Molundine shares why they're making the push and details behind the nationwide trend.
We don't feel respected.
Starbucks workers on the 600 block of State Street say now is the time to act.
Things have just been a lot more tense in the store. There's threats of people getting fired and written up and things of that sort.
They say at first they held off on plans to unionize even after the location on the Capitol Square unionized last year. But after seeing the corporation's response to collective bargaining efforts nationwide, they were done laying low.
The way they were treated is just outrageous, and we sat back and we watched this. This is a very strong store with a lot of partners. We make a lot of money, so we decided we had to act.
The National Labor Relations Board has lodged several complaints against the company, with reports of Starbucks firing unionized workers and closing down locations that voted to unionize, thereby violating the law. That's something Starbucks has denied. And while the NLBR is in charge of supervising labor practices, their power is limited.
There is no punitive aspect to the NLRB in terms of like that there's penalties or fines. There have been proposals that would have created such penalties, but they have not been endorsed by the Congress. Those bills have not passed.
Right now, all they can do is encourage employers to obey the law, come to the table, and bargain in good faith. Still, experts say in the past few years, union favorability has risen dramatically, in part because the pandemic made people rethink their relationships with work, especially among Gen Z and service industry workers, which can apply pressure.
And I think workers are tired of hearing about record corporate profits while they're just getting by.
The State Street Shop is one of hundreds of Starbucks locations across the country joining the effort to unionize, and it's the second to do so in Madison. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek in today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Sophia. Sure is coming down pretty good, and some heavy doses of rain and thunderstorms here at the moment. In fact, just about everybody is looking pretty wet this morning, especially from Eau Claire County southward into Trempealeau and also into portions of southeast Minnesota around Fillmore and Houston County, and also around the La Crosse areas where we're seeing some of those rain and thunderstorms here coming down. Also now into Vernon County, just west of the Viroqua area, you are looking at some showers and storms pushing into your neighborhood as well. And all of this activity continues to move towards the east. Even the radar detecting a little bit of some snow here on the north side of the storm system as well, which, by the way, is all associated with the main storm system that we're watching back to the west, this trough of low pressure. And you can see those storms riding up just north of this warm frontal boundary, moving into our location here now. So for your day planner today, we're going to get a bit of a break around noon today, 44 degrees, cloudy skies, rain showers may redevelop around 4 o'clock, and then we got cloudy skies in the forecast as we head into early this evening. So we'll time things out on Sky Tracker, and you can see more of those showers and storms pushing through during the late morning hours. By 2 o'clock, we'll get a bit of a break here in some of those showers and storms before more scattered showers begin to redevelop as we head toward the 6 p.m. hour today. Here's 10 o'clock tonight, a couple leftover scattered rain showers possible. Here comes another line of shower and thunderstorm activity. This is the one that we'll have to watch closely, especially overnight, because those could turn strong to even severe as they move through. By 5 a.m., I do expect that the majority of the stormy conditions move out before another round of showers and storms moves through by around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then during the afternoon tomorrow, scattered showers and a few thunderstorms could roll through during the afternoon to early evening hours there, as you can see. And we'll have to watch out here for some of those thunderstorms tonight because, like I mentioned, they could turn strong to severe. The majority of the severe weather will be mainly focused to the south, where our folks here to our southwest are currently under a slight risk of severe weather. Meanwhile, here in the Coulee region, we are on the north side of that risk under that level 1 marginal risk for hail, gusty winds, heavy rain that could cause some flooding, with the main timing mainly being overnight between 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. tonight. And we're also expecting some heavy rain here too. So this is kind of what we're thinking. Just over an inch of rain in many spots can be said here through tonight. And of course, this isn't really good for the river levels either because, as you can see, a lot of us here from Wabasha through Winona, La Crosse, and Trempealeau are currently at moderate flooding stage, and we expect that to continue to remain this way over these next several days. Keep it here to News 8, keep you updated on those river levels. But for your 8-day forecast, we're going to be looking at some scattered thunderstorms again, as we mentioned, for tomorrow. Now, Friday through Sunday, that's when we're going to dry out. Things will still remain cloudy, though, with temperatures in the 40s and low 50s, mid to upper 50s, to even to the low 60s possible for early to mid next week, with a chance of isolated thunderstorms on Tuesday. And low temperatures mainly into the 30s and low 40s. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for April 19th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. The focus for NBA fans since Sunday here in Wisconsin has been on the Bucks, more specifically on the status of their superstar and former two-time MVP. Will the big man be ready to go when Milwaukee gets set to take the floor tonight for Game 2 at Fiserv Forum? Giannis's day was cut short in the first quarter of Game 1 Sunday. After this tough spill with just 4 minutes left in the period, Giannis would try to give it a go in the second quarter, but his day was done, and so was the Bucks. Milwaukee falling in Game 1, so now a lot of pressure on the top-seeded Bucks to even this series tonight. As for Giannis, he was not available for practice Tuesday. He has been listed as doubtful for Game 2, but head coach Mike Budenholzer says there's been a lot of progress since Sunday and hopefully more in the next day or so. Tonight, big game. He also used the word optimistic when addressing the media after practice on Tuesday. So Bucks fans, keep those fingers crossed. Hopefully Giannis will be able to give it a go for Game 2. Twins trying to snap their 2-game skid in Boston last night, taking on the Red Sox. It would go to extras, tied at 2 in the 10th. Byron Buxton puts Minnesota on top. Twins would tack on one more and take a 4-2 lead, but the Sox battle back in the bottom of the inning. Winning run at third, Alex Verdugo is going to end it on what looked like a foul ball initially, but Fenway Park, unique dimensions down the right field line. The ball skidding off the wall in fair territory. That's how this one ends. Twins lose a heartbreaker, 5 for the final as they drop their third straight game. What a wild night to open the Stanley Cup playoffs on Monday. Wild and Stars in Big D facing off in Game 1. Late second period, Minnesota trailing by a goal. Not anymore. Sam Steele on the breakaway puts in the equalizer. Just like that, it was tied at 2. One overtime would not be enough to settle it. It would go to double OT. So many close calls down the stretch. Finally, Ryan Hartman winning it for the Wild. He buries the game winner in double overtime. Minnesota gets it done on the road in Game 1, 3-2 the final. This is shaping up to be a grueling series for both squads. Wild will look to take a 2-0 series lead tonight at 8:30. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
The U.S. Secret Service was caught off guard by a tiny intruder who came onto White House grounds. The agency says a toddler set off security alerts Tuesday when the child crawled through the fence on the White House. Secret Service officers responded quickly and reunited the child with their parents. This isn't the first time a child has put Secret Service on alert. Back in 2014, a toddler squeezed through the White House fence, creating a temporary lockdown. The leaked Pentagon documents are not impacting the actions of NATO allies when it comes to Ukraine. That's according to NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Stoltenberg said in an interview, quote, "We have all seen that some of these leakages are incorrect and manipulated. I don't think they will impact what NATO allies are doing." Fox News agreed to pay Dominion Voting Systems nearly $800 million in a settlement yesterday. Just before opening arguments in Dominion's lawsuit against the company were set to begin. Dominion originally wanted $1.6 billion against Fox News, arguing that Fox knew claims of election fraud made by both hosts and guests were false, but chose to air them anyway. The network still faces a similar lawsuit from Smartmatic, another voting system that is seeking $2.7 billion from Fox. Experts say a crisis is rising in healthcare staffing, with hundreds of thousands of nurses planning to exit the workforce. Armin Rahman sat down with leaders of UW Health's residency program to see how that may turn the tides for the next generation of nurses.
A lot of nurses quit in the first year of starting.
But John Freiberg is not one of them.
I don't really see myself going anywhere for a while.
A fact he largely owes to UW Health's nursing residency that he just completed last month.
I think a big part is, the skills and being able to kind of ease into being a nurse, but a lot of it is just having people there to support you.
The 12-month program is one of 47 in the country. Residents learn clinical skills with existing nurses and every month take a different class with a group of their peers.
Many nursing schools had to change dramatically during the pandemic, and they weren't able to have hands-on skills the way that nurses are typically prepared. And so we wanted to kind of overcome that gap.
Last year, the hospital hired 200 nurses, and so far this year, 54 have started. Residency leaders say they've had to adapt not just the training, but the support systems.
Well, I think we've seen more anxiety, less confidence in their skills.
You're sitting there and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get to a point where I'm going to be able to be a nurse like on my own without having anyone watch over me?
Because it goes without saying, it's a hard job that's causing stress, early retirement, and burnout.
Right now I'm working on the burn unit. You can find areas that you're good with and also be grateful for nurses that are doing things you're maybe not so comfortable with.
And it's caused a shortage of thousands of nurses during the pandemic. Experts in Wisconsin say they haven't seen in over a decade.
Nurses have really broad and in-depth training, so they can fill a lot of roles on the healthcare team. So when there's a shortage, we really feel that impact in terms of access.
And hundreds of thousands more have their foot out the door.
The best way we can impact that is to keep them in the profession. And so that's where having a program to understand their needs and to support them is very, very important.
Experts say the staffing shortages in hospitals have already led to longer wait times and making acute care like nursing homes almost impossible to find. A new pair of bills has passed in Wisconsin's assembly. State and local governments would not be allowed to ban gas-powered vehicles. The Republican-led bill hopes to outlaw measures similar to one passed in California that requires all new vehicles run on electricity by 2035. Representative Ellen Schutt from Rock County says it's about allowing Wisconsinites the freedom to choose between products. Democratic counterparts say these moves are unnecessary.
These bills are unnecessary. These bills are really a solution that is looking for a problem that does not exist.
I think just allowing the consumer to decide what type of vehicle they want to drive, whether it's electric or gas or anything else that's out there, we need to make sure we give them options, and I think this bill just protects that.
The bills are now heading to the state Senate. At an event, Governor Tony Evers said he didn't believe a ban on gas engines was necessary for the state to slowly transition to electric vehicles. A piece of political history is at the center of a debate in Wisconsin. The former school, known as the birthplace of the Republican Party, may be losing its National Historic Landmark status due to an address change. The Chamber of Commerce sold the land where it once sat, so the schoolhouse was moved. According to a letter from the State Historic Preservation Office, the new move wipes the schoolhouse from the National Register and historic landmarks. Tim Bachleitner, chair of the Fond du Lac County Republican Party, is upset.
Today stings because individuals in this community knew that by moving the building today without permission from the National Registry was going to get us immediately deleted from the National Registry, and we would lose historic national landmark status.
According to Chamber Executive Director Mandy Kimes, they received approval by the state to move it and expected the National Register to approve. They are now appealing the state's decision. The Wisconsin DNR is encouraging the public to attend upcoming County Deer Advisory Council meetings. The DNR and Conservation Congress have scheduled meetings across the state between April 24th and May 4th. The public can attend the meetings either virtually or in person. The County Deer Advisory Councils are made up of volunteers from each county. Once these advisory councils meet, the DNR will bring hunting season recommendations to the Natural Resources Board in June. We have more information on the council process on news8000.com. A Milwaukee man drove to Indiana to thank the people who helped save his life. The heart beating in his chest originally belonged to a young man whose parents decided to donate his organs.
Two families meeting for the first time.
I ain't as tough a cop as I thought I would.
Law enforcement veteran Keith Thrower came to the Indiana Donor Network.
Man.
All the way from Wisconsin.
All the stuff I used to do, now I can do it again.
To meet Debbie and Dan Patterson. Thrower received their son's heart. Nick was 31.
You want to hear it?
A gift, Thrower says, that gives him a second chance.
Because I was going to actually get an inscription to thank Nick on my arm.
Nick Patterson died of a drug overdose in 2021.
They don't feel self-worth, you know, a lot of times. So by us donating, I was giving Nick that before he passed. At least, you know, saving 3 people's lives would give him some worth, you know.
Thrower suffered several heart attacks, had triple bypass surgery, and undiagnosed Legionnaire's disease. His doctor said his life was fading fast unless he received a new heart. Thrower got the call that saved his life.
If it wasn't for the Pattersons, I wouldn't be here. So, I mean, I just had to say thank you. It's just something you feel you have to do as a recipient.
You'll get invited this fall to come back and do more.
Nick's name now among others on the Indiana Donor Network wall, something the Pattersons can hold on to, knowing their son could help save a life.
The other 2 people Nick's mother referred to are patients who received his kidneys. His family decided to also donate both of those organs as well. Here's Derek to tell us what our weather is looking like. Derek?
Hey, Sophia. Yeah, it's definitely wet outside this morning, so pack the umbrella and the rain ponchos here with you. You are definitely going to need it, as you can see behind me. A lot of folks here are dealing with showers and thunderstorms this morning, especially for our western communities. I would say from about Pepin County down into Buffalo County especially, and into portions of Trempealeau County are some of the locations definitely getting some of the heavier rain showers this morning with some thunderstorms, and that's in the forecast today. 49 degrees, making it very unseasonably cold for this time of the year. For tonight, 43 degrees with more thunderstorms likely, and some of those thunderstorms could even turn strong to even severe at times. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Driving conditions this morning, very wet with showers and thunderstorms. And then for the lunch hour, I do expect us to get a bit of a break before more showers and possible thunderstorms begin to move in again as we head into your evening hour commute. So we'll time things out on another last check on your full weather forecast coming up after the break. And we'll also have your Buzz Report. Been coming up on that. So the reason why people from all over the U.S. are traveling to California. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Definitely a wet and stormy start here this morning across much of the Coulee region, especially for those of you listening from our north and western communities. I would say from Eau Claire County, Pepin County, Buffalo County especially, even portions of Trempealeau County, and also into portions of central Jackson County. Definitely looking at some of the heaviest amounts of rain moving through your neighborhoods this morning, even down to the south here in portions of Vernon County and also portions of Monroe County, now into La Crosse County here too, Viroqua. You are looking at some showers and some thunderstorms containing some heavy downpours and some occasional to frequent lightning here at times as well, all associated with this system that continues to pack a punch here for us this morning, producing lots of heavy rain, showers and thunderstorms, and you can see even a little bit of snow here trying to mix in according to the radar on the northern side of the storm system up towards northern Clark County and around the Rusk County area as well. Now this is all associated with the main storm system that's going to be bringing us showers and thunderstorms here, not just today but for the day tomorrow as well, positioned mainly to our west. You can see a couple of fronts associated with it as well. The warm front is currently affecting us right now. Thunderstorms are riding up and along this warm frontal boundary just north of it, and that is causing those showers and thunderstorms for us this morning. Cloudy skies by 12 o'clock, so we get a bit of a break there. A few showers by 4 o'clock, temperatures at 49 degrees, and then we got cloudy skies as we head into the early evening hours and temperatures remaining into the 40s. So we'll time it out on Sky Tracker. You can see the showers and storms continue to move through the area through those late morning hours. Here comes 2 o'clock this afternoon, and we'll get that break here as most of the activity clears out. But watch what happens by 6 p.m. More scattered showers begin to develop across the area, and this will linger until 10 o'clock before yet another main wave of thunderstorms begins to move through during the overnight hours. And we'll have to watch that one closely because that could be strong to severe weather activity. As we head into overnight, still looking at some showers and thunderstorms moving through, which will continue into early tomorrow morning. Here's 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Again, another break, more showers and storms back to the west, which will move east as we head into those later afternoon hours here tomorrow. So we mentioned the severe weather risk. A slight risk of severe weather in effect here, mainly across the central plains. So this is mainly to our south and southwest. We, however, in the Coulee region are under that level 1 marginal risk of severe weather, mainly for our central and southern zones. For hail, gusty winds, heavy rain that could cause some flooding, and the timing is mainly during the overnight. We're thinking between around 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. tonight. Probably the best chance is to see that type of severe weather activity. Now, we mentioned the heavy rain. We could be looking at just over an inch of rainfall in many spots, which, by the way, is not very good here, especially for the river levels already here at moderate flooding for many spots in the Coulee region. So here's a check on your 8-day forecast, and we will be looking at, again, those chances of thunderstorms for tomorrow, followed by cloudy and cooler conditions on the backside of the storm system for Friday through this weekend. High temperatures rebound into the mid to upper 50s Monday and Tuesday with a chance of isolated storms on Tuesday. Highs into the low 60s by Wednesday.
In our morning buzz report, Ann Margaret is out with her first studio album in more than a decade. Born to Be Wild features her takes on classic rock and pop songs in collaboration with Aerosmith's Joe Perry, Paul Schaefer, the Oak Ridge Boys, Mickey Gilley, and Pete Townsend, who last worked with Ann Margaret nearly 50 years ago on Tommy.
I'm so pumped. I'm so excited.
It's honestly the only thing I've been looking forward to for the last 2 or 3 months.
Camping at Coachella is Christmas for adults.
It's the essential Coachella experience.
Coachella's second weekend begins this Friday, and festival goers from all over the world are packing their cars and setting up their tents for the weekend ahead. Bad Bunny, Blackpink, and Frank Ocean will be headlining the event. Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
We're going to start with Adeline today, who is turning 8. Now, Adeline loves to go to school, loves stickers, and being outside.
Happy 80th birthday to Carol. His granddaughter sends a personal message. Happy 80th, I love you.
Oh, so sweet. Happy 88th birthday to Raymond. Raymond loves to curl, give tractor rides at a local orchard. That seems pretty fun. And, you know, he likes to volunteer whenever and wherever he can.
Happy 80th birthday to Don. Don recently moved here from Las Vegas, and he loves to go for walks, donuts, and all of his new friends.
Well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. Governor Tony Evers has declared a state of emergency because of flooding. Fast snowmelt along with heavy rains has caused flooding issues all over the state. The executive order authorizes state agencies and the Wisconsin National Guard to help out if needed. According to the governor's office, high water levels are already affecting areas with poor drainage and leading to water-covered roadways. The Wisconsin Governor's Office reports a La Crosse County judge is retiring this summer. Governor Evers announced he's seeking applicants for La Crosse County Circuit Court Branch 3 and a branch in Dane County Court. Current La Crosse Branch 3 Judge Todd Berkey is retiring on July 31st. Applicants for both court positions would serve a term until July 31st of 2024. The Holmen Area Fire Department has a new fire chief. Ryan Ostrang has worked for 8 different fire departments throughout his career. Ostrang previously served as the fire captain and deputy director for the Rochester Fire Department. He says that his background in leadership and emergency management has prepared him to step into his role.
The Holmen Fire Department, it's in a transition between mostly part-time firefighters to mostly career firefighters. I'm very familiar and comfortable with that because of my experience with volunteer combination and career fire departments.
President of the Holmen Area Fire Board, Patrick Barlow, says Ostrang has the full support, the board and station.
It's just very exciting in a community to bring on new leadership, and on top of all the other positive events with the referendum, it's just a really happy time for the department to see a new leader come in and be able to help us focus on meeting the needs of our community into the future.
Native to the area, Ostrang attended La Crosse Central High School, has a daughter who attended UWL, and has family all over on Alaska. The new fire chief says getting to serve a community while still being close to family is the icing on the cake. The La Crosse Community Foundation hosted an annual Holocaust Remembrance and Education program last night. Community members gathered at La Crosse's congregation, Sons of Abraham, to highlight the importance of Holocaust education in La Crosse. La Crosse School District representatives shared how they're putting grants towards Holocaust education to work. The night included a violinist, a short film, and a performance of a scene from the Diary of Anne Frank. The School District of La Crosse has created a group for citizens to address district concerns. A district release says the Facility Advisory Committee will be made up of about 30 community members. The group will look at data and community feedback to make recommendations for needs within the school system. That includes recommendations for combining elementary schools and improving middle and high schools. Monthly meetings start up tomorrow. The first meeting will be held from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Hogan Administrative Center. Anyone in the community is welcome to attend and observe. Area students sparked an interest in STEM at Onalaska's Omni Center. The first annual Build My Future event is a chance for students to picture themselves in hands-on careers. Industry partners had different displays, activities, and equipment for students to try on site.
The biggest thing that we hear is, how can I get things done? Well, we need workers to get those things done. So this is what that's all about, is introducing them to those trades that are available to them.
This was the first annual hands-on career day for the Driftless region.
As you head out the door this morning, things are definitely looking wet and stormy out there, so pack that rain poncho and umbrella with you. You'll definitely need it through at least 9 o'clock this morning because it will start to taper by 11 a.m. 1 to 3 p.m. cloudy skies, and then late this afternoon to early this evening, another round of showers and a couple of storms possible moving through. Check on your 8-day forecast shows that we have another chance of thunderstorms tonight and also into the day tomorrow. Friday through the weekend, lingering cloud cover, temperatures much cooler into the upper 40s, low 50s, and then we warm up again as we head into next week.
I'm not complaining. It's a whole lot better than the 30s from like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, who wants to deal with that in April,
But
right?
I do miss the 80s already.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks,
it was nice
Derek.
while it lasted.
And thank you for watching News 8 Now. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We'll have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for watching News 8.